especially after COVID, people started looking towards investments more closely, and they understood what is an importance of having a proper financial plan, and that's the experience we also have, and that's what even in the advisors across India also say. It was COVID that taught a lot of people that you should have an emergency fund or something, and that's where their viewpoint started changing. But do you still think that investors have a very, very short memory? We do have a short memory, and we tend to forget what has bad. So what is your advice on scenarios like this?
I mean, you are absolutely right in saying that COVID has taught a few things to people. The concept of liquidity, emergency funding, contingency funding actually came to the fore. A lot of people were struggling because they had not made any provision for such kind of an emergency. They did not envisage such an emergency. Yeah. Nobody could have envisaged. That is there. But that is the whole point as far as a contingency funding or an emergency funding. It is basically for such situations which you really cannot predict. So there has to be a certain amount put aside, which will come in handy in situations like COVID being one of the emergencies or one of the contingencies. See, the important thing which I think people need to learn and understand is that life has become far, far more complex than ever before. There are too many goals which are there. And one of the goals which is very prevalent, and I see that all the time, is that people want to send their children abroad for education. Yeah. So that has become almost a fad, and everybody, irrespective of their income level, they want to send their children abroad. Yeah. So now there is only one problem about sending their children abroad. I mean, depending on their income level, it can completely bankrupt you. Yeah. So I mean, if somebody wants to study in the US, for example, on an average, it will be roughly maybe 50 to 60 lakhs per year, including the fees and the living costs. So now, if it is a 4-year course, we are talking about the north of 2 crores, 2 crores 20 lakhs. And if it is graduation for 2 children, then you multiply that by 2. And probably if there is also post-graduation, we are talking about several crores of rupees. Okay, so the point is, while people are earning extremely well today, and probably many households have double income, there are a lot of double income households, the aspirations have gone up, the goals have gone up. I mean, like, for example, most people want to buy a nice property and they want to furnish it well. So when we talk about a nice property and furnishing it well, it can start from 2 crores and it can go up to 10 crores. We don't know. It all depends on what property, where in the country they want to have. So the point is, now that's a big goal. So now sending children abroad again is a big goal. Then people want to buy cars. Many of them have eyes on very, very nice, interesting, fancy models. And they will change once every 5 years, 7 years, that kind of thing. So that also takes money. Then people are also into travel a lot more than ever before. And people are also traveling abroad. So that's also something which we see very, very commonly these days. So all these things take a lot of money, and the lifestyle, the lifestyle is also there. Yeah. Of people. I mean, it's a decent, good, fancy lifestyle that people have. And even forget about the graduation, post-graduation, the children's education is also taking a ton of money today. Right. So, I mean, if we look at all these things put together, it is very, very important. And taking into account the complexity that is there in the financial services space, it's extremely important to plan one's finances and have a proper financial advisor, especially if if the stakes are high. The stakes get higher when you have many such goals, and the stakes get higher when the amount of money that you can save, or the amount of money that you have already saved, is probably maybe ahead of 50 lakhs. If you say you have 5 or 10 lakhs, it does not matter. You can do all the experiments, and if you lose also, it's a few thousand rupees. Yeah. In a situation where you have say 2 crores, a small margin of error of 1% will be 2 lakh rupees. So we are talking about very big numbers. So your margin of error, suppose there is a 5% margin of error, we are talking about a very big 10 lakh rupee number, 5%. So the point is now, and the fact that, I mean, you want to achieve all the goals without with the margin of safety. Yeah. So that is where a financial advisor can play a very, very good, useful role. The fintech platforms and all that are good for people who want to do it yourself. who are at the early stages in their career, who are tech savvy, and who have some money to park from time to time, and who can just at the click of a button maybe park 5,000, 10,000 here and there, or start a SIP for a couple of thousands here and there. So it's good for them as a start. So I mean, I see fintechs very, very positively. But for anybody who is at a slightly mature level, so the typical people whom we address are 35 plus, typically 35 plus, probably somebody who is married, and probably somebody who's having a family in terms of children. So that is so at that time a financial advisor becomes necessary to navigate navigate the financial scene.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.